Everyone talks about connecting with the universe, about following your intuition, about seeing signs. But no one tells you something essential. As long as you stay surrounded by noise, too many people, constant notifications, endless tasks, and a hectic pace, you'll never be able to hear what life is trying to tell you. It might sound harsh, but it's true. Some truths are only revealed when you choose to be alone, not out of isolation, but out of reconnection. And here's a counterintuitive truth. The more you pull inward, the more the outside world begins to respond in magical ways. Solitude, when embraced with awareness, doesn't hurt. It heals. It's in this space of being truly present with yourself that the signs begin to appear, with almost unsettling clarity. Synchronicities aren't hiding from you. You're just too distracted to notice them. And maybe it's not your fault. After all, we've been taught to rush, to produce, to please, to do what has to be done. But what if what has to be done is to stop, to be silent, to listen? Most people are too afraid to enter that space, and that's why they stay disconnected from their own truth. But if you've made it to this video, chances are you've already felt the call. You're probably already seeing the signs, but you don't yet know how to read them. And what if I told you there's a secret code behind the coincidences in your life, and that this code only reveals itself when you step back from the world and dive into yourself? Stick with me until the end, because I'm going to show you how solitude can be the most powerful key to activate synchronicity and completely transform the course of your spiritual journey. You know that moment when everything feels loud, even when there's no sound at all? That's the noise of the mind, fed by too many notifications, commitments, and other people's expectations. The truth is that constant noise keeps us from noticing the signs the universe is already sending us. And this isn't about magic or superstition, it's about subtle perception. When someone chooses to be alone, when they decide to unplug from the outside world, they finally begin to hear what was once inaudible. Solitude isn't absence, it's concentrated presence. It's in this state that the mind stops chasing answers and starts listening to what the invisible is trying to reveal. Carl Jung believed the unconscious communicates through symbols, dreams, and synchronicities. But these subtle codes don't shout, they whisper. And only those who learn to quiet themselves from within are able to decode them clearly. Want a simple example? Try spending an afternoon with no phone, no music, no distractions. Take a notebook, go to a quiet place and just observe. What comes up in your mind? What images appear? What memories resurface? These are clues. Small signs of what needs to be healed, what needs to be seen. It's like opening a window inward, and once you learn to open that window, you begin to see what no one else is noticing. Some people think solitude is a punishment, but the wise know it's preparation. When someone chooses solitude on purpose, something inside begins to reorganize. It's like turning off the world's frequency and tuning into your own. In that stillness, you cleanse yourself energetically because you're no longer absorbing everyone else's fears, anxieties, and expectations. And then something magical happens. You begin to attract different signs, clearer, deeper ones. It's as if the universe has been waiting for this moment to activate synchronicity more powerfully. When you stop resonating with other people's noise and start tuning into your own frequency, everything changes. That weak little intuitive voice becomes powerful. Those accidents start to make sense. And it's not coincidence, it's activated synchronicity. It's your personal vibration speaking the same language as the universe. But that only happens when you give yourself permission to be alone, even if just for a while. Want to try it now? Create the habit of doing a vibrational detox once a week. It could be a 40-minute silent walk, a long bath with dim lighting and no phone, or simply meditating with nature sounds. The goal: stop vibrating on other people's frequency and reconnect with your own. Because once you find your real frequency, the signs don't just show up, they scream the way forward. And from that point on, everything starts conspiring in ways that feel too strange to be just chance. You know that feeling that the answers are already there, but you just can't hear them. That's because most of the time, the universe speaks in silence. It doesn't send messages through WhatsApp. It doesn't shout from the balcony. It whispers. And to hear those whispers, you need to be present. No distractions, no rush, no pressure to be or appear a certain way. Being alone doesn't just mean being physically alone. It means being emotionally available to listen. A lot of people are constantly connected, yet completely disconnected from themselves. So here's the question: how can you notice the signs if you're not even paying attention to you? The universe won't compete with the noise in your mind. It will simply wait until you're ready. And that ready moment only comes when you choose solitude, not as punishment, but as permission. When the world's volume drops, even the quietest thoughts find their voice. Want to experience this in practice? Start small. Set aside just 10 minutes a day to do absolutely nothing. Don't read, don't check your phone, don't play music. Just be there, breathing. At first, it'll feel like a waste of time. But after a few days, something interesting happens. Ideas emerge. Long-forgotten memories resurface. Synchronicities become more visible. The universe doesn't change. You do. And that's when you finally start to listen. True solitude isn't just a moment of silence. It's a ritual. And like any ritual, it requires intention. When someone chooses to be alone with the purpose of realigning, they're saying to the universe, "I'm ready to hear what you have to say." And the universe responds. It always has. But now, instead of ignoring the signs or doubting the synchronicities, this person begins to see everything with more sensitive, awakened eyes. It's in this silent ritual that the soul starts to remember why it came here. The universe's call doesn't show up as a headline or breaking news on TV. It reveals itself in details, in a sentence someone casually says, in a book that falls off a shelf, in a number that repeats, in an unlikely encounter. And the only way to notice any of it is by being in a deep state of listening. And that only happens when you empty yourself of the excess. It's like clearing a shelf in your soul to make space for what truly matters. Want to ritualize your solitude? Create a small personal altar, even if it's just a corner of your room with a candle, a notebook, and a meaningful object. Use that space as a place to return to yourself. Write questions to the universe. Sit there often with no rush for answers, because sometimes the universe just wants to see if you'll truly listen before it speaks. And when it does, the signs leave no doubt. You're being called. Once solitude has done its job, something begins to shift. And it's not just within you. It's as if the outer world starts to respond to your new vibration. People appear out of nowhere with the right words. Doors open where there used to be walls. Ideas arrive like whispers straight to your heart. This is not coincidence. It's the universe answering your decision to be alone. Because those who have the courage to go silent earn the right to be guided by synchronicity. At that moment, the ego might try to return with its old patterns. Is this safe? Is this right? But those who've been through solitude consciously have already learned to recognize the signs. The next step rarely comes with neon signs, but it comes with peace in the chest. And that's enough. Expansion isn't loud, it's precise. And the truth is, when you're aligned, reality no longer has to push you. it starts to walk beside you. If you feel like you've reached this point, do this. Write down 3 things you've experienced in the past few days that feel too coincidental. Then ask yourself, what are they trying to show me? Maybe it's time to accept that invitation you've been putting off, or to revisit that old project that randomly popped back into your mind. Small steps guided by synchronicity are worth more than big decisions made on autopilot. And once you start moving with the universe, it speeds up with you. Now that you understand how solitude can be a secret key to activating synchronicity and opening communication with the universe, the question is, will you keep ignoring the signs, or will you start truly listening? Will you keep running from yourself, or will you embrace silence as an ally? Because the truth is simple, those who learn to be alone never feel lost again. And if this message hit deep, maybe that was the universe speaking to you once again. So tell me, what's the most powerful synchronicity you've ever experienced? The one that made you think, there's no way this is just a coincidence. Share it in the comments. Someone out there might be going through the same thing and just needs a spark to awaken. And more importantly, what action will you take today to create a space for solitude in your life? Will you go for a silent walk? Journal your thoughts? Turn off your phone for an hour? Pick one and start. That's when everything changes. And if this message made sense to you, do this. Hit subscribe now and turn on notifications. Here we talk about everything the spiritual world is trying to show you, but in a clear, grounded, human way. Because awakening doesn't have to be lonely, but it always starts when you learn to be alone. I'll see you in the next video.